what I thought would be interesting is when they talked about how it would be sending you into this like abandoned, haunting kind of universe with no one living in it. I almost wish they could incorporate that into like the mechanics of the game, because like for those who don't know, there's a bunch of different universes you can visit across the course of No Man's Sky. Every time you visit the center of the galaxy, you go to another universe, and total across that functional universes there are 256, I believe, starting at 0 and ending at 255. And you go through the process, and then you can go all the way back to the first universe. If you get to 255 and go to the center of the galaxy and re-instance again, basically you circle back around to the very first universe. Euclid? Isentom? No, Euclid. Euclid's the first. And you end up at Euclid. There used to be, long, long ago, in No Man's Sky, a mechanic in which you could slip into a 256 universe, like a 257th universe that was labeled as Universe 256, right? Because we start at 0, 255, right? That was like labeled as a 256. I don't know if it was actually like the 256 you can get into. I don't remember how you got into it, but it used to be possible. Technically, it's still possible. It's like a broken universe. Functionally it works, but you're not supposed to be able to get in there anymore, right? And like once you slip in there, I think once you try and like re-instance the universe, you go into variations of the 256 universe. Like instead of being able to get back out to Euclid, you can't. You're like stuck in this constantly looping variation of the 256 universe if you try and jump into the center of the galaxy over and over. And so it's this weird thing. It's almost like when you see people doing like out of bounds glitch type stuff in games, except you're like slipping completely out of the functional game universe into this universe that like isn't really supposed to exist and sort of locks you in unless you have a way to teleport out of it, like to a previous base you had in a previous universe kind of thing, right? Because it was something that they used to let you do, and then they got rid of it functionally. But people who already had a save that was already in that universe could still like build bases and stuff there. So like the only way you're able to get into 256 today in current day and age is by being like friends, is either having a save that was already there, or by like being friends with someone who has a save that has a base in 256, and then using the station teleporters to teleport to their base that's in 256. So like technically you can still get there, but it's very difficult to do so. Now, mechanically, there's nothing really different about that universe, right? It falls under the categorizations that all these other universes do of like lush or whatever, right? And there's NPCs there. It functions basically exactly the same as any other universe. So it's not like it's this abandoned haunted universe in game. It's just like out of game meta commentary. It's like this universe you're not supposed to be able to get to anymore and all that sort of stuff, right? Like something should be wrong if you've gotten to this universe on like a meta level. Um so I didn't believe they would actually do this, but part of me kind of hoped maybe they would wind that back into like the lore of the game with this one, where they're like you're in this weird abandoned universe, blah blah blah, that Adrift has lore wise. Almost made me wanted to hope that like this would be Universe 256 or something like that. That like they would alter 256 to be a place where like NPCs don't exist and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure they didn't, and I'm sure this isn't 256, but I wish it was, because that'd be kind of cool on a like meta commentary level of them to incorporate the fact that there's this weird universe that people aren't supposed to be able to get into but technically can, right? Like back into the story of the game. would have been very interesting.